To all those people watching, I would like to remind everyone that this video is not made strictly for kids. It is for older fans and adults too. Enjoy the fucking video! This video is brought to you by my loyal patrons. Register now at any tier to watch new videos 1 month in advance before they're made public. Link is in the description. Topham Hatt was really pleased with his engines after their hard work reshaping the island to what it was before the war broke out. And 1 month before Christmas he came to see them at the sheds. "You've all done really well," he said happily. "As a reward for your hard work, I'll be hosting a special Christmas party at the big station for you all, along with the servicemen who fought such a grueling but triumphant battle." The engines all whistled and cheered. "Thank you, sir." One of the jobs the engines had to take was to bring all the men that had gone to fight in the war in Europe back to their homes from Brendam docks. There were lots heading for home to their families along Thomas's branch line. All the families were hoping to be reunited with their loved ones. Some were very happy to see their dad, brother, husband and grandson at home safe, sound and alive. But some weren't so lucky, but hoped that they could be on the next train. "I hope Daddy comes home for Christmas soon," sighed the little boy. "I hope so too, darling. But don't give up hope," replied the mother. But day after day they were still waiting, but he hadn't shown up. The mother had enough of going down the station every morning and began to focus on something else. But the boy was determined to know if his father would show up. Thomas could see this, and while he admired the boy, he was worried all the same. If you ever visit the island of Sodor and are interested in the stories from the various railways, then you should visit the Railway Archives. It's a treasure trove of stories over the years with all of the engines across the island of Sodor, big or small. Let's take a look at all the stories that are a blast from the past for the engines of Sodor. The Christmas party drew near, and Thomas was bringing in more servicemen who had returned home just in time to celebrate Christmas. He saw the boy again. It had been months since he and his mother waited for their father and husband to return. They had received some letters from him over the past few months, and one said that he will be home in time for Christmas. But as soon as the returned serviceman left the station, the boy sighed sadly. "You're still waiting for your father, aren't you?" Yes, replied the boy, shivering. "My name is Joyce. I've been coming to the station for months hoping to see that my father would be on your train. He said to me and my mother in his letters that he would be home for Christmas, but now I'm afraid that he won't." Thomas felt sorry for Joyce, but then he smiled and said, "Don't give up hope, Joyce. I'm sure your father will be home soon. You best get warm. Waiting out here in the cold would not do you any good." The boy sighed and then trudged sadly home. But Joyce wasn't the only child whose father wasn't home in time to celebrate. Lots of children in the village and valleys were in the same boat as well. "Christmas is supposed to be a happy time of year for everyone," sighed Thomas. "Indeed. But you can thank the ones who had started that dreaded war, Thomas. They were the ones responsible for spoiling Christmas for everyone," replied his driver. Thomas agreed. "Is there anything we could do?" he asked. "I don't think there's much we can do. It would be nice if everyone's father had just come back all at once, but I think it would be too chaotic." Thomas knew that his driver was right, but he was still thinking of what to do. When he arrived at Farquhar, he could see the station's Christmas tree on the platform. Then a thought struck him. Why not have the children at the Christmas party? He said to his driver. "We could cheer up Joyce and all the other children who were still waiting for their fathers to return home." The driver thought it was a splendid idea, and so did Topham Hatt. "I'll make the arrangements right away." There were shortages due to the war effort, so for food there were sandwiches, and as a drink some pop, and for their entertainment a puppet show was arranged which was Punch and Judy. Topham Hatt had even asked staff if they had any toys and other things to spare for the children to pass on as gifts. Some had mended their children's old bikes, and some had even made toys out of wood, since factories back then had either shut down or were part of the war effort. He'd even asked the wider public on radio if they had anything to spare as well while telling them about the party. Joyce's mother had heard of it as well, and thought of going down there to celebrate. "But I want Dad to come home," Joyce said, and tears began to well from his eyes. "I understand, darling, and you should hope, but we can't always determine, I'm afraid. Come on, I'm sure the party will get your mind off of it." When the day of the party came, the children were having a fabulous time. They enjoyed their presents, the food, and the entertainment. This was the best Christmas they had had for a while, all except for Joyce. But while the engines, passengers, and servicemen were enjoying the fun, the station master came towards Topham Hatt. "Sir, we got word that another ship of servicemen is due in shortly. We need to arrange some trains now." Topham Hatt was confused. "But we aren't due for some returning until after Christmas. But all the same, we better get them ready. Do you think some of them might be these kids' fathers?" "Who knows, sir," replied the station master. The fat director turned towards Thomas, James, and Gordon and told them the news, and arranged for them to collect the servicemen. They were annoyed that they were to miss out on the rest of the party, but knew that the work was important. At the harbour, the servicemen disembarked from the ship and saw their train pulling in. The fat director climbed down from Gordon's cab. "We're having a Christmas party tonight, and we have some kids in attendance, and I have a list of their names. If you happen to have a child there, I'm sure you can make their Christmas extra special. But if your child is not on the list, you're more than welcome to celebrate with us." The men looked at the list. One man saw it and smiled. Back at the station, everyone was still enjoying the celebrations when they heard Thomas, James, and Gordon whistling into the station with broad smiles on their faces. Then out came the servicemen. The children all looked towards them and gasped. Some of them were their dads. Them and their mothers ran up to them with tears in their eyes and gave them a big hug. Then, coming towards Joyce, a voice called, "Hello, son." "Dad! It's Dad! You're home! You're home for Christmas!" And he gave him a hug, and so did his mother, all shedding tears that they were at last reunited. After the party, Thomas puffed into the shed alongside Edward. "No one expected that to happen." "Well, I guess you could say this was truly a Christmas miracle," replied Edward, smiling. "This may be the children's best Christmas ever." "And Joyce's too," agreed Thomas.